You got the Tammy. You have it live. Hey, welcome back for another live show, the Helpful Home Inspector Show, coming at you live from Hartford, Wisconsin. We're here every Saturday from 9 to 10 a.m., bringing you tips and tricks to help you better maintain and take care of your home. Please make sure to subscribe down the bottom there. It basically will make sure that you get some of our videos at the top of your feed. If you want to know when we post a new video, hit that bell notification. And if you like the video or like the experience, give us a thumbs up. We love to get your feedback, all right? Today, we have a fellow home inspector, Andy Builder of Builder Inspections. How's it going, Andy?
Going good.
Awesome, man. Glad you're here. And today we're going to be talking about a number of different things, but our main topic is going to be talking about everything water heaters. So we're going to talk all about the different types of water heaters, the efficiencies of water heaters, the cost to own a water heater. And some of the service things and things like that to go into it, okay? We're also going to be giving, obviously, our Save a Buck for the day. We're going to talk about your tip of the week, all that kind of stuff. We're also going to be giving away a X-31 Shockwave drone today, so make sure you hang out in the show. You want that for the kids?
Sweet.
There you go. Sorry, you can't have it.
I got a couple drones at home, so
yeah. True. But staying around, we're gonna have a lot of good information out here for you. We are on until 10 o'clock, and we're gonna give you a ton of info. But if you missed the show, you can always watch it on YouTube, and that'll be posted probably. Well, Tammy's pretty quick, so probably by tomorrow afternoon. Podcast will be up on Monday. You can always get all the old videos and stuff on podcasts as well. YouTube is where we post all the videos and stuff. We'll be breaking this up into little segments and stuff as well on there for you guys. All right, but let's get into this. All right, so a little bit of housekeeping from last week. We had the Keller Williams Smith team here. We talked about pre-listing inspections and stuff. Great conversation. I mean, pre-listing inspections are essential.
Very important.
Yeah, I mean, when you talk about making a home sale go smoother, easier, more transparent, I mean, there's just no better way to do it than a pre-listing inspection. And as a seller, it's not something to be afraid of. It's a thing that's going to help you in the long run sell your house and sell it for more money. It's going to help you make money selling your house. Even just the simplest of things like being able to fix things on your own instead of having to hire a contractor. You know, you got a leaky drain in your bathroom or whatever, your vanity. Well, guess what? If you have the home inspection come, then you negotiate to have that leaky drain fixed, then you got to hire a plumber. Okay. Instead, you can go to the Ace or whatever, get some Teflon tape, and put on a new P-trap all yourself for $15. It's just it's a no-brainer. So, in my opinion, at least.
Yeah, I agree.
Now, as far as our defect of the week, now the defect of the week is going to be around wood siding. Okay, and we're going to give you the little brief video that I shot on site here. Let me open it up here. Just 1 minute. Tammy, you want to switch over to the computer? Hey gang, Matt the Helpful Home Inspector coming at you from a house down in Genesee, Wisconsin. And today we're talking wood siding. All right, natural wood on the outside of your home is an awful idea. Okay, not only is it an awful idea everywhere, but it's especially an awful idea here in Wisconsin. Here in Wisconsin, we have too much drastic temperature changes. You can see the condition of this wood. It just deteriorates. It requires so much maintenance. It's very expensive to fix, repair, and you're looking at every 5 years having to spend $10,000 to $20,000 to have somebody come out and paint your house and repair all the woodpecker holes and other kinds of damages and stuff. Very expensive, requires a lot of time to maintain. Not worth it. There's lots of other good options out there that will let you spend more time enjoying your house instead of taking care of your house. All right? Have a great day, and remember, you guys, the better you take care of your house, the better it's going to take care of you. Have a good one. So, wood siding. We still see it going on in all new homes today. Okay, a lot of new homes today. And I think people have fallen in love with the look, the texture and stuff. And hence that texture is repeated in all the other siding materials like hardy plank and vinyl siding even. They try to put a wood fake texture on it because that's the look everybody's going for, right? And people, when they initially put the wood on, they understand they're going to have to do some paint and prep, but I don't think they understand the depths of it,
What I run into all the time is just like you say, is on those homes out in the out in the woods more. I mean, I feel like woodpecker holes are just impossible to stop. I mean,
Yeah.
how do you stop them? You really
You can't.
You can't.
And you can't kill them.
Yeah,
You know, it's against the law to kill them. You kill them, you're going to get fined by the DNR. So don't get out the BB gun because that'll get you in trouble. I mean, people put owls up. They put little spinny foil things up and all this stuff.
I see them too. Sometimes they put what's that?
Steel wool.
Steel wool. They'll fill it, but they pack 2 inches over to the right, and it doesn't stop them. So
and really, they see a bug, so they think the bug went into the woods. So they come over and start pecking at it. Think they're going to get to the bug, and it's part of living in Wisconsin. However, you have a lot of better options. Okay, when we talk about wood, you're talking about rot, you're talking about water intrusion, you're talking about wood-boring insects. Down south, if you're south of Illinois, you're talking termites. It makes it an easy path for termites to come into your home and just ravage it. So with wood siding, you guys definitely think about different materials. The wood siding is going to require a paint cycle every 5 to 8 years that you're going to have to paint, prep, repair, fix rot, do all that kind of stuff. And if you hire a professional, $10,000 to $20,000 for just
depending on the size of your house.
For just a 15,000 square foot home, or 1,500 square foot home. It's insane how much money you have to spend to maintain that home, and you could spend that $15,000 to $20,000 repainting your siding. But guess what? You're going to do it another 5 years, and another 5 years after that, another 5 years after that. I mean, it boggles my brain why people keep doing it. But they do. And I think it's just because of the love of the wood. I can't understand any other rationale why, because it takes so much time. Even if you're going to do it yourself, I mean, it takes weeks for somebody doing their own house to get it done right. Between the pressure washing, the scraping, the sanding, the priming. I mean, so.
And you can tell when people cut corners and do a crappy job.
Yeah,
it doesn't look good.
They bugger it up, or they smush a bunch of caulk in to try to. I mean, come on.
It takes time.
Yeah, it takes time. It takes you away from the things that you enjoy in life, and it means you increase your maintenance, not only cost but time. I mean, I always, when we're going around the home and stuff at a home inspection, I'm always telling people, hey, these are ways you can reduce your maintenance level. These are ways you can better maintain, take care of your house, and enjoy it more instead of having to take care of it. I mean. Every 5 years, if I had an extra $15,000 laying around, hello, ATV, or whatever. Yeah. I mean, I can find a lot better ways to spend $15,000. As far as the other siding materials go, there's lots of choices out there. Whether it be Hardy Plank, that's got a 25, 30-year lifespan on it. Vinyl siding, 50-year lifespan on it. Metal siding, 50-year lifespan on it. A little more fragile, but and when you don't want to get any of the plywoods, that's even worse. When you get some of these people that put plywood on the outside of the house, what the.
Like those panels?
Yeah, TP 111 or whatever it is, where it's got the little grooves in the plywood and they paint it and think they're good.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, I came across the house the other day. You could put your whole fist through a hole of rot in the side of the house. I mean, it was just insane. And when you have that much rot happening, you're not only having the problem on the outside, but now you're damaging your structure. You're getting water intrusion. You're getting moisture in your home. It's a quick and easy way for insects, rodents, pests, and other things to get into your home. Make a different choice, I mean, and to install wood can't be any cheaper than putting on Hardy Plank or something.
Well, not now with the cost of
lumber. Yeah, absolutely. But when you look at some of the other products that are out there, I mean, some of the metal sidings are looking really good because they are doing some different colorations and different textures and stuff. They're putting large planks into their molds and stuff like that, making it look more like a traditional wood product. But lots better options. When you're thinking about improving the outside of your house, the biggest thing I can say to think about isn't the initial cost. It's the long-term cost of what this material is going to cost me, in not only money, but time and that kind of stuff. I mean, if you have to hire professionals, guys, there's such a shortage of contractors. Good luck getting somebody, first of all. But then you got to not only get them out there, but then you're going to pay premium dollar, too, because these guys are making a bunch of money because there's a shortage in the workforce as far as construction goes. Yep. So that is our defect of the week, okay? Avoid wood products on the outside of your house. Wood trim, wood siding, wood soffit, all bad ideas, okay? Easy to install, but requires a lot of maintenance and a lot of money over time. Rethink it. Come up with different options. There's lots of choices out there. We are going to have a show in about, I think it's scheduled for about 5 weeks from now, where we're talking about different siding materials and stuff. So, lots of information out there on the different options and stuff as well. But don't be off-putting by the initial cost of the material, okay? the initial cost isn't anything compared to the long-term costs and stuff. So, so that is our defect of the week. The save a buck for this week. Save a buck. Great time of year when not much is going on outside, no yard work to do or anything like that. And it's coming up. It's not far away. I mean, you're a lawn care guy. I'm a lawn care guy.
Definitely a lawn care guy.
You got to do stripes. You got to make it look nice. You know, you got to have a good consistent height. And the way that you get a good-looking lawn, okay, starts with your blades.
Yep.
You know, if you don't have good blades that are balanced, if they're like crooked and got rock nicks in them and all kinds of just wonky stuff, you're not going to get a good cut on your lawn. Your grass is going to get all frayed at the top. It's going to look funny, and it's just
diseases come in.
Diseases come in. It's going to get browned out and stuff. You know, so and it's going to gather when you have the frayed tops, whatever. You're going to gather more dandelion, seeds and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. I'm going to recommend that you go out and you grind down your lawnmower blades. Okay, it's something you can do on your own. If you don't have an angle grinder like this, go get one. Harbor Freight, $15.69, I think I saw online. But taking the time to grind down their blades, give a good 60-degree angle is what you're ultimately looking for, but it doesn't have to be perfect. If you have a nice sharp edge on it, you're going to do good. Try to get a nice 60-degree bevel on it. If you have a couple of nicks and dings, it doesn't matter. Just put a nice straight edge on there, nice and sharp. And then when you do your lawnmower blades, one of the things you need to make sure you do when you're grinding them down is balancing them. Right, so the easiest way to do that is just take your wood workbench or a piece of wood someplace that's on the wall in your garage, hammer a nail in, probably a 16-penny nail.
That's what I do.
Yeah,
on a screw.
On a screw or a nail. Yeah, and you just set the lawnmower blade right on there, and it should balance. If it doesn't, you gotta basically grind a little bit off the heavy side, and then you'll get them to balance up nice, and that means that they're gonna spin more evenly, and you're gonna get a nice flat cut. If you're cutting your grass and you're getting,
I mean, they make kits you can buy too, like special tools to make sure it's balanced. But that's the cheapest, easiest way of doing it is what he just said. So
yeah, I've seen like the little cone before.
Little cones you can buy, and they make actual like little tools to grind your blades. But again, $15 for an angle grinder is probably the best and cheapest way.
How long does it take?
30 seconds.
Yeah, it doesn't take.
I mean, long. I take the blades off and then do it. But if you get comfortable with it, it only takes you few minutes.
And if you don't neglect it. I mean, if you let it go for 3 years before you grind down your blades, they're going to be kind of nicked up.
I buy new blades every year.
You'll buy brand new blades
every year, and then I sharpen those blades as the year goes on.
Mulching blades?
Mulching blades, yeah.
Yeah, mulching blades are the way to go, because then in the fall when you get your leaves, you just put that cover over your chute and mulch everything up. You can mulch everything up all year round if you want, but then you get a really dirty deck. So,
yeah.
I mean, lawnmower maintenance, you guys, it doesn't take a lot of time. Maybe half hour, 45 minutes once a month during the summer, to make sure that your lawnmower is working well, going to cut your grass well, and lasts a long time. Greasing your greasers and stuff. It's all a little bit of a process, but once you get that process down, it doesn't take that long at all. But great time to, back the car out, do some lawnmower maintenance. You got nothing else going on outside. Why you need to sit inside and watch reruns of Friends or anything? Let's get outside. Let's, do some work on your lawnmower so you're ready to go when the springtime comes, and you don't have to pay, Midwest equipment or whatever, for a $350 tune-up. It's just, do it yourself. Pretty easy to do. All right, so grind down those blades. Get that good enough. All right. So the next thing we got is our co-host question. So we always, whoever we have on for a co-host, we always want to ask them a question that's going on. And Andy actually was a former student of mine back when I was a teacher. He got into the home inspection trade. He knew some realtors, and the realtors like, hey, go follow Matt. Check out Matt. What he did. So Andy came up to an inspection with me in Port Washington. And next thing you know, I'm here and he's out inspecting houses with Mike and stuff. And, so Andy started his own business last year. Yeah. But he had been working with a number of different companies before that. Got licensed in 2016?
Yeah.
When did you graduate high school?
09.
Yeah. That was a while ago. You're getting old now, buddy.
It's crazy. We already had our 10 year.
That's crazy. Yeah. I mean,
15 years coming up.
Yeah. Well, and I still remember Andy Builder, the guy.
Yeah, the little guy.
Yeah. And now he's got 2 kids and a wife, and he's got a house, and he's got a putting green in the backyard that I'm jealous of. So what's it like to be a home inspector for you on a day-to-day basis?
Well, it depends on the time of year. But I think it's something that is perfect fit for me. I love doing it just because, you have the flexibility of not having to sit at a 9-to-5 job.
Yeah.
But you still get to go and I mean, you're still busy. You're still doing your things, meeting new people every day, helping people out on a big milestone in their life, which is buying a house. Maybe it's their first house or their fifth house. It's still a really big milestone, and I like the fulfillment of being able to help them, and you know, it's a big commitment buying a home. So
yeah, that's big for me too. The helping thing, man. I'm a helper. Whoever calls, Tammy's like, you always go help everybody, but nobody ever comes help you. It's because I don't need it. If I needed it, I know that they would come, you know. But I feel good when I help people out with stuff, you know. And informing those first time home buyers that are all googly eyed, that don't know what they're doing, they're spending more money than they've ever spent on anything in their whole life, you know. It just feels good.
And seeing, explaining something to them and seeing it click in their head, like, oh. That makes sense. Like, it's nice. I mean, obviously you come from a teaching background, and probably it's something that's built into you. So I enjoy it. It's something that I think I'm going to enjoy for a long time, and hopefully the real estate business stays strong. So
well, and the nice thing about home inspection is it's not like construction work where your body's going to give out on you. You're going to have knee.
Yeah, I was in the construction business for a short period, and I knew that was something I could not keep up with. So it was.
I did it in college, man, and I was come home sore. I developed carpal tunnel issues. I had all kinds of plantar fascia issues. I mean, all from building fences, decks, gazebos, to outdoor structures, that kind of stuff. And then I went into teaching, and I was teaching engineering construction classes and stuff like that. And I'm like, I know a lot about this stuff, And then we bought our home, and I'm like, this guy was awful. Yeah. And I just forked out $400 to this dude.
There's a void to fill.
Yeah, I'm like, and I knew more than he did. It was crazy.
Yep.
So I'm like, and there's got to be a better way. I mean, we sat around and picked our nose for 4 hours, and it was just atrocious. So,
and there's still those guys out there.
Oh, those guys are still out there. Yeah. They're still out there with their clipboard, and
they're making.
They're making money
good
too.
Money, yeah.
It's just kind of crazy, but being a home inspector, very rewarding, and glad to see you're enjoying it.
Yeah.
Now, so today our main topic is going to be surrounding around water heaters, okay? And we're going to talk a lot about the different types of water heaters, the pluses, the minuses, the efficiencies, the cost to own, the cost to purchase, all that kind of stuff. And when we get into talking about water heaters, the first thing we're going to do is identify what a water heater is, okay? A water heater isn't required to be 75 gallons tank in your basement, okay? A water heater could be as simple as a little coffee water heater underneath your kitchen counter that heats up water for your coffee or tea or whatever, Water heaters come in all different shapes, all different sizes. If you go into your Hobby Lobby or something like that, they're going to have a little, 6-gallon water heater underneath the sink just for using it at the sink and stuff, They come in all different shapes, sizes, types, and when it comes to the water heater in your residential home, that is what we're going to really be talking about today. We're not going to talk about all those little ones, and yes, we do know that there's an electric tankless water heater that some business has underneath the sink someplace, but you're not going to put an electric tankless water heater in your home. Okay, it wouldn't make sense. All right, I don't even make one large enough for that.
Yeah, not that I've seen yet.
Yeah, electric tankless water heater is going to be a little tiny guy. It's going to be about that big, okay, and it's going to be underneath the sink at a business or something like that. Now, as far as water heaters go, the most common one out there is going to be your gas tanked water heater. Conventional efficiency gas tanked water heater. You go down in the basement, there's a tank, there's a metal pipe flue coming up out of it, and there's a gas line running to it, okay? That's going to be the most common here in the United States. Here in the United States, we're talking. Second, most common is going to be your electric tanked water heater. So it's basically 2 electric elements, heating up the water and pushing it out to the rest of the house, where a gas water heater's got a burner on the bottom, heating up the bottom of the water heater. And it's even got an exhaust baffle that goes up through the middle that kind of heats a little bit of water in the middle and stuff, makes it a little bit more efficient. And then when you get into stuff outside of that, there's lots of different options, but they're not significant players in the marketplace as far in comparison to electric water heaters and gas water heaters. So those are the two biggies. And most of you, probably 90% of you that are out there listening, are going to see something in your basement that's going to be either an electric tanked water heater or some version of a gas tanked water heater, where you're holding 40, 50, 60, 75 gallons, 80 gallons of hot water heater, of hot water in your basement at any given time. Now, the problem that you have with these tanked water heaters is that they run all the time. Yeah.
You're constantly heating the 80 gallons of water.
Yeah, whether you're at home, not home, whatever. And you're spending money to heat water that you're not going to use. because by the time you get home, that water had to be reheated probably 5, 6, 7, 8 times in a day. Okay, no matter how much insulation you put in the water heater, it's just what happens, and so you're paying for all of that energy usage. Okay, and when it comes to efficiencies, gas and electric water heaters are efficient. They do their job. Electric water heater, by the UE factor, which is kind of like a figuring of, if you put in 1 unit of energy, 0.9 of it goes into the hot water with an electric water heater. When you're talking about a gas water heater, you're going to be around 0.6. And when you get into other units, it's going to be right around that 0.6 to 0.8, unless you get into heat pumps, which are going to be a huge payback, which is like a 4 point something, But when we talk about tanked and water heaters, the cost wise, you're talking about electric water heater around probably $800, $1,000 installed. Yeah. When you're talking about a gas water heater, if you're going with a conventional efficiency, you're talking about $1,000, $1,100. Power vented, you're talking in that $1,200 to $1,300 range. You can find somebody that's going to charge more. You might be able to find somebody who charges less. We're not going to, dicker about those expenses, and quality has something to do with the water heater.
Oh yeah,
who you're paying to do the work, right? That all matters. What kind do you got at your house?
We have a high efficient. I don't even know what brand mine is.
No.
I think it's I don't even know actually. Yeah, I'm blanking. I don't know.
Yeah, we got a Bradford White downstairs. Horsham Mill put it in for us a while back, and
ours came when we built our house up. I'm not sure whatever.
No,
I want to say, I don't know. I want to say A.O. Smith, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, but the thing to understand too is that there's changes happening in the water heater market, and things are in 10 years, 15 years. The water heater landscape in the United States is going to look dramatically different. So when it comes time to looking at replacing your water heater, you're going to have a lot more options than you ever had before. Up until the 90s. Tanked electric and gas was it. Yeah. That was it. There was a few outliers with some solar heaters and some condensing water heaters and things like that, but there was so few of them. We would never see them. Today we're seeing people look at all kinds of different options because we're understanding more about our energy usage and the cost associated with that energy usage. So when you're looking at a tanked and electric or gas, whatever you want to look at, you're talking about $4,000 to $5,000 to operate that water heater for the year. Okay, there's cheaper, better options as far as the efficiencies and expenses and things like that. And when we are looking at those options, probably the front runner as far as ultimate efficiency, heat pump water heater. However, much more expensive to purchase up front, okay? But you're talking about a unit that instead of being 50% or 60% efficient, you're talking about this is going to be, 400% efficient? And the efficiency with that as far as expense to cost to operate, with a tank, basically it's a tanked electric backup heat pump water heater. So we have a heat pump water heater which draws energy from the air around it in the basement or in the garage, wherever it may be, and it heats the water, but it heats it slowly. Okay, now if you have a big draw, there's an electric backup on there that's going to kick in and heat up the water faster for you, but you're losing efficiency with that then. But if you put basically $1 or 1 unit of energy into a heat pump water heater, you get 4 units of output instead of 0.6. which is a big difference, So when we're looking at keeping the tanked environment that we have in water heaters today, I think heat pumps are the way to go. However, the whole rest of the world has different ideas.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, they're using tankless water heaters.
I would say Europe is all about tankless over there.
Yeah, tankless. They use also indirect a lot in Western Europe. They use a lot of indirect. So they have the boiler, and the boiler heats the registers in the home, but it also heats the water in the water heater and stuff. But like anywhere, if you're talking about Eastern Europe, Asia, Russia, you're looking at tankless water heaters, where they're not storing hot water all the time. They're even using point of use stuff. So like if you're in the bathroom in Taiwan, okay, they may have a little water heater right on the wall, right next to the shower, and that is what's providing the hot water for the shower. And it's just a little tiny,
they also don't have
water heater.
The space to put 80-gallon tanks, right?
That's true too. Yeah. I mean, here in America, our homes generally are much larger.
Yeah.
And it's not Western Europe, you know, if you have a big home, you're somebody big. You're a big deal, you know. Here in Wisconsin, if you got 1,500 square feet, you're not that big of a deal, you know. But
standard size
yeah,
home.
That's a standard size home. But 1,500 square feet in England, holy cow, you're a rich guy, you know. So it's just a different thing, you know. But when it comes to the water heaters, lots and lots of different options out there. As far as the water heaters go, tankless water heaters, combination units, which are basically using two heating sources. So like your solar and your wood burning, like somebody has a wood burner outside, you know, they can heat up a glycol product that gets pushed around the water heater that heats up the water that's in there. It doesn't contact it at all. You know, you can't have any cross connections, but combination units, hybrid heat pump water heaters are an option. Solar water heaters, condensing water heaters, point of use, wood burning, all that kind of stuff. Lots of options out there as far as water heaters go. When we I have a chart here that I can bring up and kind of show you a little bit about all the water heaters. Tammy, you want to pull that up on the computer? So as far as water heaters go, okay, electric heat pump, tanked gas, and gas tankless are going to be some of our most common water heaters we're going to see. And this chart kind of really shows the efficiency of these different units. So if we're looking at an electric heat pump water heater, your initial cost is about $1,400 to $3,000. Now there are lots of rebates that you can get for heat pump water heaters, right? Through Focus on Energy, Energy Star, lots of different options there. But they're basically a government rebate that you get on your taxes and stuff. Okay, if you're looking at a tanked electric water heater, you could, the most expensive one I think might be $1,200. But if you're paying $1,200 for an electric water heater, that's a steep cost. Tanked gas water heater, what we're looking at there is going to be around that $1,000 to $1,500 range installed. You know, you can go to Home Depot and buy one for $700-800, but you got to know what you're doing to install the thing. And then tankless water heaters, a little bit more expensive to purchase up front. There are some lingering rebates on these guys, but not much anymore. They used to be hot. Like, there was a lot of rebates to go tankless before heat pump stuff came out. But then we developed heat pump water heater technology, and, I mean, it blew the socks off of tankless.
Yeah, I think, too, there's, like, a lot of stigma, I think, with these, at least what I heard with, like, tankless is that people were buying them and they were breaking within a couple of years. Because you have to maintain them differently than like a tank water heater.
You got to maintain them.
I think
for sure. But that was, I think, early on in the when a lot of the water heater manufacturers like A.O. Smith and Bosch and some of these other guys were just looking to get into the market as far as tankless water heaters, and making them viable in the U.S. market. And they made changes. And whenever you change something, whether it's changing the F-150 or changing a bike design or whatever, there's going to be some glitches when you first start, But as far as the water heaters go, your cost of purchase, it's important, but it's not that important. Okay. What's important with the water heater is understanding that you buy a good quality water heater. If it's a tank water heater, you should plan to get 12, 15 years of life out of it. That's reasonable. Manufacturers are going to say 8 to 10, Sometimes, if you have bad water or you get a bad unit or something like that, it might go before that.
It's going down as the years go on.
Yeah, yep. But when you're looking at purchasing it, the unit's going to be in your house for a long time. So being more concerned about the efficiency and stuff is important. So when you look at the annual fuel cost, you're talking about what does it cost me to operate this thing throughout the year, okay? And in a heat pump situation, you're looking at about $100 to $160 for an electric water heater. The most expensive to operate, probably 2 to 3 times what everything else is, because heating anything with electricity is incredibly expensive. And it's basically, if you look at a unit of energy versus a unit of energy, the cost for electric unit of energy is very high right now here in the U.S. Gas is still very, very cheap. Is gas going to get more expensive? Probably. I mean, it's a fossil fuel.
Solar's coming.
Yeah, solar's coming
in hard. Yeah, there's a lot of rebates on that too.
Lots of options with that. And then when you get into the tanked water heater, you're talking about using natural gas or propane to operate it, and that's a $200 to $300 a year operation cost. And tankless water heaters, because they don't heat water all the time. They only heat it when you need it. Okay, so a tankless water heater basically flash heats the water and sends it out to the location. Some people with tankless water heaters think that it should be instantaneous water. It is not. It is just like your tanked water heater, though. If you have a tanked water heater down in the basement, all your pipes are cold between the tanked water heater and the faucet you're trying to use. Same thing with a tankless water heater. Okay, so you're still going to have that 1 to 2 minute delay. With a tanked water heater, you could put on a circ pump or something like that, to have instant hot water, but that's an extra cost then. And you're heating now not only 50 gallons of hot water, you're probably heating like 75 gallons of hot water, When it talks about first hour recovery, these first hour recovery numbers are how quickly will the tank reheat. So when your wife takes a super long hot shower, not saying you do that, Tammy. If my wife takes a super long hot shower and you get in, how long is it going to take for me to get hot water back again? And as far as a heat pump water heater, 60 to 100 gallons, that's going to depend on how much of the electric elements are being used. And that's going to be in your first hour of recovery. An electric water heater takes about 55 to 72. Oh, wait. Yeah. You get 55 to 72 gallons of hot water in that first hour. And then with a tanked gas water heater, about that same range, that 60 to 85 is good. But with tankless, you could leave the hot water on for 2 years and it's still going to be kicking out hot water at whatever temperature you have it set at, which I'm a big fan of that. Yeah. So there's never going to be a cold shower. And when my kids were living in the house and everybody was getting up in the morning and going to school, guess who got the last shower of the day? That was this cat. So I had plenty of cold showers that day at those times. But with a tankless hot water heater, you won't have to deal with any of that. We have a jetted tub up in the bathroom. Yeah, that takes up the whole 50-gallon water heater that I have in the basement. With a tankless hot water heater, you know what? My water in my hot tub is getting a little cool. I'm going to put more hot water in. And you know what? You can just leave the hot water trickling on the whole time if you want to. It wastes water doing that, but you can refresh your hot water pretty quickly with that type of a system. Now, when it comes to the sizes of these water heaters, normally here in the U.S., you're going to look at anywhere between a 40 and 80-gallon hot water heater in your basement, okay? Remember, if you have a tanked water heater and you have an 80-gallon tanked water heater, you're storing 80 gallons of hot water every day, all day, and you're reheating it over and over again while you're at work, and that comes at an expense, okay? When you're talking about tankless, when we have a tanked water heater at our cabin up north. When I have to replace that thing, I'm going tankless. Yeah, because then I don't have to. The water heater I don't have to do anything with it. Yep. I don't have to worry about turning the temperature down. It's not even going to produce any temperature unless I start asking for water. If there's a draw on the pressure, that's what turns it on. But as far as tankless goes, there is no limit to how much hot water you can generate. There is a limit as to how fast the hot water can get through the system, though. So it's going to be rated in gallons per minute or whatever. Most of them are going to be between 3 and 4 gallons a minute is what they're going to rate at. The bigger bigger it is, obviously, the more hot water you can produce in a given period of time. The UE factor. So these UE factors, I was looking this up last night because I'm like, this doesn't make any sense. So the numbers that we're getting here, a lot of them came from Matt Reisinger on the Billet Show. I looked up Max, a plumber online. There's a whole bunch of places I went and looked up information to get these things. But as far as the UE factor goes, the UE factor is basically measuring the unit's efficiency. Okay, lots of times when I'm talking to people about efficiency, I'm like, okay, so let's think about efficiency in a practical way. So if you have $1 of gas and you're going to put it into this water heater, okay, if it's a gas water heater, okay, you're going to get 60 cents of heat out of it, okay? If we're talking about $1 of electricity, when you look at the UE factor up here, they're trying to say that you're going to get 90 cents of heat out of it, but that's not true because electric is so much more expensive. Yeah. So the reality of it is if you put $1 of electricity into a water heater, you're only going to get maybe 20 cents, 30 cents of heat out of that $1 of electricity. And it's just because electricity is so much more expensive here in the U.S. Now, as those costs with electricity we don't have to transfer the coal and we switch over to solar and wind and some of these other options that are going to help us reduce our energy costs in the long run because these are renewable resources that we don't have to cart in all this coal to burn and produce heat and steam. So these UE factors can be kind of deceiving, okay? But what it comes down to, what we're looking at with this is if you're putting in a unit of energy, not $1, They're talking about a unit of energy.
Yeah.
Okay, so with a unit of energy with electricity, they consider 12 kilowatts a unit of energy. When it comes to gas or oil or any of these other types of things, they're talking about a amount that they're identifying as a unit of energy. So when you put in 1 unit of energy, how efficiently is that unit of energy being used? And that's where these UE factors and stuff come in. Okay, so lots of different people have different ideas about that all, and it is a science, but it's not a science. And that, just like anything, if you want to get a study about this, you can go out and find one. You want to get a study that contradicts that, you can go out and find one. It's just that everybody's got a little bit different opinions about it. So the UE factor is, I guess, wouldn't be what I would look at if I'm looking at purchasing a water heater, but it's on the energy guide label, with that energy usage label on the front of the machine or whatever. They're going to list that there. Yeah. And that's basically trying to tell you or skew you in one way or the other as to which is going to be the best option for you as far as efficiency goes. I think a better thing to look at for this is your overall 13-year cost. So the average water heater, tanked water heater, is going to last about 13 years. Okay. And as far as the 13-year cost to own water heater, you're looking at about $4,000 for an electric heat pump water heater. Okay, so that's the purchase price plus operation for 13 years. Okay, the tanked water heater, and lowest initial upfront cost, cheapest water heater you can go out and buy is an electric tanked water heater. However, after 13 years, it's going to cost you almost $2,500 more than a heat pump water heater, which is double the cost initially. So if you are only going to be there for a year, maybe 2 years, 3 years, maybe the electric makes sense. Or if it's a rental property, you're not paying the bill, right? But if it's something where you're going to live there at that house for 5-7 years, I wouldn't go with an electric tanked water heater. I'd look into the heat pump option, because if you look across the board here, I mean, you can go heat pump or you can go tankless and still be in a good cost to own over 13 years. The gas tankless, you're going to have $4,900, Obviously, these are dependent on how much water you use and all these types of things, but they're talking what they use for the energy guide label is just an average household usage, and they try to make that the same across the board. But your gas tanked water heater, still $1,500 cheaper than electric, so, I mean, still a better option than electric water heater. So,
yeah.
All right. Now, when it comes to water heaters, there's lots and lots of rebates out there. You can go to a lot of different sites. We're going to put a link down in the bottom of this video where you can go and click on it and find out if there's any rebates for water heaters that you might be interested in. But lots and lots of rebates out there for different types of water heaters, and it's basically a federal tax rebate. You can also go to Focus on Energy, and you can actually buy water heaters at Focus on Energy. Yeah, they actually sell water heaters there, and they have instant rebates and stuff, so you don't have to apply for tax credits. It automatically comes right off the top,
nice.
Which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
So go to Focus Energy, go to Energy Star, go to other places. There's a link down below that you can get some good stuff as far as your energy rebates for buying something that's more efficient. And it's going to save the electrical usage and gas usage here in the United States. All right. Now, when it comes to sizing a water heater, generally speaking, if you're talking to a plumber, they're going to size your water heater based on what?
How many people in the house?
How many people in the house? How many bedrooms you got is a common factor, And if you're talking about a 3 or 4 bedroom home, 50-gallon water heater should be sufficient,
Yeah, I don't think I see anything under 50 anymore being put in houses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The only time that we see the big behemoths are usually when we have a lot of bedrooms or
tubs.
Or whirlpool tubs. Yeah. Because if you only have 50 gallons of hot water, your whirlpool tub's going to take all of that. Yeah. I mean, and you may be even left wanting more, So that's when they put in those 80-gallon hot water heaters. Or I've even gone to 2,000 square foot homes that have a big old whirlpool tub, but they put 2 water heaters in the basement.
Yep.
I'm like, so you're heating 100 gallons of hot water all day, every day, because you're going to use your hot tub twice a year.
Yeah, they don't get used very often.
They don't get used very often. Every time I turn them on, they just start kicking out yuck
mildew.
And because people don't use them and they don't clean them, they don't maintain them. Yep. We got to do an episode on that sometime. But holy cow, when you're talking about storing 100 gallons of hot water every day, all day, reheating it over and over and over again, how much energy and money are you wasting? I mean, it's just insane. So. Yeah, there's lots of different options out there, but sizing your water heater appropriately for your needs is the way to go. Okay. if you're going to look into any water heater and looking at replacing your water heater, a heat pump water heater or a tankless water heater is definitely the way to go. It's going to be cheaper for you in the long run. You got to get over the sticker shock in the beginning, okay? Yes, you're going to spend an extra $1,000, but you're going to save $1,000, $2,000 in the long run over to that gas water heater you want to buy and put in your home, okay? Now, the problem that people have with water heaters is that they don't replace their water heater until it leaks or stops working. And at that point, you're in panic mode, right? You are going to call up a plumber, get whoever you can over there, and you're going to get that thing replaced as quickly as possible with whatever the heck that guy's got in the back of his truck.
Pay an emergency fee, right?
Yeah. I mean, you're going to, because you can't
live
without hot water. I mean, yes, cold showers are a thing, but they're not a fun thing. Okay, and so you need to get that done right away, and so you haven't got the time to go out and research and price and do all these other types of things. The thing that I would suggest, any plumber can put in any water heater. Okay, go out and buy whatever water heater you want to put in your home. Soon as your water heater is getting old. Okay, so if your water heater is 10 years old, go out and buy a water heater, bring it into the house, store it in the basement. That way, when it breaks,
You got one there.
you got one there. You can buy the water heater. You don't have to buy it from the plumber, because we know what the plumber's going to do. No offense to plumbers, they're gonna add on a transportation fee. They're gonna say a product upcharge, you know. And so that $800 water heater you can go to Home Depot and buy. They're gonna charge you $1,200 for the water heater plus installation. This way, you just call them up, and they don't have to worry about going to Home Depot or anything like that. You just say, I already have the water heater in my basement. I got a Bradford. I went out and bought a Bradford White, 50-gallon water heater or whatever, and it's in my basement, ready to go. Can't
you also decide to do a tankless at that point, or switch types of water heaters?
Yeah, you can get whatever you want. You know, you could do all that research and decide tankless is the way I want to go. I like that idea that Matt was talking about with limitless hot water. I can take as long a hot shower as I want on that cold January day when you get off the ice rink, and nobody's going to stop you, and nobody's going to be, walking in after you having to have a deal with a cold shower, so you don't feel that obligation to get out of the shower, and you can enjoy it a little bit longer. But, taking care of it ahead of time, I think, is the smartest way to go. And as soon as your water heater is 10 years old, folks, you don't have a lot of time left. Okay. Have Andy and I gone into homes and found, 50-year-old water heaters? Yeah. Some of those old A.O. Smith.
The brown ones?
Yeah, the brown ones, or those teal green ones,
Yeah.
And those old A.O. Smith water heaters, man, they last forever. I mean, some of them look great still, A.O. Smith water heaters, manufactured here in Wisconsin. Well, a lot of them are not manufactured in Wisconsin, but they're headquartered here in Wisconsin. And one of the best water heaters in the business. And they have converted over into the tankless market and stuff like that. Their products so far that I've seen have been pretty good, but they haven't been in it for long. When you're looking at tankless water heaters, one of the realtors that we work with up in Port Washington, Troy Brettel, he put a Tagaki water heater in his house probably 15 years ago. Thing is run like a champ.
I say the most tankless water heaters I see today in houses are not like American brands.
Yeah, they're shipped over from overseas. Yep. Yeah, because they've been doing tankless water heaters over there for the last 50 years. Yep. So they've got the kinks worked out. Here in the U.S., if you're buying an American-made water heater, and don't get me wrong, I'm all about American-made, okay? It's just that we are new in the market, and we're new in the manufacturing, and even though they have very good engineers, they have very good manufacturing processes, there's still a limitation to our capabilities at this time as far as tankless water heaters. The more we get into it, though, the more the prices are going to come down. Anytime you increase manufacturing and competition, prices drop. So the prices on tankless water heaters are going to come down. We need to improve the education of some of our plumbers out there that are anti-tankless. That they're anti-tankless because that's not what they're used to putting in, and it's not as easy to put in. When you talk about a tankless water heater, you got to put in not only the larger gas line, but you have to change the ventilation of the unit. You got to add in isolating valves so you can descale it at once a year, and that kind of stuff. Plus, a tankless water heater is going to last 20 years. On average, 20 to 30 years.
Those plumbers are losing money.
Yeah, if you maintain it. If you maintain a tankless water heater, it's going to last 20 to 30 years instead of a tanked water heater. 10 to 15. So it definitely is something to consider. Okay, now the heat pump water heaters are relatively new. We do not know what the overall lifespan of them is going to be, whether it be the tank itself, which would still be an electric water heater. So 10 to 15 years. Okay, I think is the baseline that we're looking at. But when we get into the heat pump portion, which is the part on top, is that going to last long? It's hard to say. I mean, essentially, it's an air conditioner on top of your water heater, and how long that lasts, it's hard to say. The guy inspected his house down the street here when we moved in. He had one of the new A.O. Smith heat pump water heaters. It was one of the first ones I saw, and they had some bad experiences with it. But A.O. Smith replaced it, and everything worked out fine and everything. But it's we don't know until you get to a product that's been on the market for 20, 30 years. You're not going to really know its true functionality, lifespan, that kind of stuff. Yep. So something to consider. Now, here in Wisconsin, almost all of our water heaters are going to be in our basements. Okay. Occasionally, if you have a condo with no basement, it'll be in a closet or something like that. When you're putting in the water, if you're putting in a tanked water heater, always ask the plumber to put a pan underneath it with a drain line going to a floor drain so you don't get water all over your floor when that thing does leak. And it will leak eventually. Okay?
Sometimes you see those water alarms too on there.
Yeah, water alarms are good. I mean, for $7, you can get a water alarm and just put it right next to the water heater. When it starts leaking, it starts going crazy, and you are alerted to there's a problem instead before your whole house gets flooded out. Because when water heaters leak, you're not just leaking 50 gallons of hot water, you're leaking 50 gallons and then the next 50 gallons because it just keeps refilling. You know, so it's definitely something to consider where you're putting the water heater. Now, when we look at down south, so if you're say south of Illinois, south of Tennessee, okay, their water heaters are going to be in their garage. They're going to be on the outside of their house. My brother-in-law lives in Texas, and I went down there to help him learn how to descale his water heater. Okay, electric. It's a tankless water heater on the outside of his house. That's fine, but as soon as they got some ice down there and they had some freezing temperatures, they had some issues.
Sure.
Yeah. And that can lead to an issue. But generally speaking, down in Texas, outside of your house, on the outside of your house, takes up less space. But in your garage might be a better idea. A tankless water heater, I mean, it's literally like this big. It's not that they're not very large. You can buy ones that are a little bit bigger, and that's going to push more gallons per minute through. But tankless water heaters down south, there's a way that they go, generally speaking. But here in the U.S., tanked inner basement, tankless inner basement. With a tankless, you could put it in a hallway and things like that. So with a tankless water heater, you're not going to have the leak issue that you would with a tanked water heater, right? So I could put it in a closet upstairs and not gonna be a big thing. Not worry as much, because a tankless water heater, when it leaks, it only leaks while it's pushing water through, and that's only while you're using it. If it's storing hot water, that's a different story. So the next thing, as far as the water heater goes, anode rods. Yeah, it's a sacrificial metal inside, and it's just
no one ever replaces them.
No one ever replaces them. They deteriorate. If you start getting smelly water, anode rod is something that needs to be replaced. Most of the time, when they try to they need to replace it, and they go to pull it out, it's so fragile it just breaks apart. And then as far as the anode rod goes, it's meant to deteriorate after about 6-7 years, so you'd have to replace it twice. I was talking to one of the plumbers earlier this week, or whatever. He said, I just pull it out and cap it and do without it. It's going to start deteriorating the inside of the tank, and the tank is only designed to last 10, 15 years anyways. So he's like, just pull it out and don't even worry about it. And then people talk about flushing the water heaters. They don't suggest flushing them anymore, even. It's because things are different with our glass-lined water heaters. And then they talk about descaling. Descaling is basically, so if you think of scale, it's calcium that's deposited on the inside of the unit from flash heating the water. The minerals come out of the water and clog up things. Okay, so like your coffee maker, okay, you have to put vinegar through your coffee maker to clean it. Same type of thing. You're just descaling a coffee maker. In this case, you're descaling a water heater that's flash heating water. And in order to do that, you have to have some isolating valves that will allow you to do that. I do have...
They make at-home kits you can do yourself, or otherwise you could pay.
There's a picture. Tammy, you want to bring up the computer? No, that's not the computer. Okay. Oh, there you go. Okay. So as far as the isolating valves go, you can see the red and blue handle there. That's where you would isolate the valves off. And you basically get a little pump and 3 gallons of white vinegar, and you have that circulate for an hour, and that cleans that all out, and it keeps it working well. If you do that, tankless water heaters, 20 years. This one on the bottom here, this is a Rinnai. Rinnai is manufactured overseas, one of those ones.
I see those a lot.
They've been making them for a long time. So that is a good option there. And then when you get into water heaters, you can look at, different types of exhaust and things like that. I would always go with more high efficient. So you shouldn't have, I would love it if people didn't have to send up metal flues through their brand new house and put a hole in their roof. I'm like
8-foot pole sticking on the top.
Yeah, and it's just, and then in the cold of Wisconsin, we get these ice globs on top of it. Then you're getting carbon monoxide pushed back in there. I mean, there's got to be a
power
way. Power vent's the way to go. If you're gonna go with a gas tanked water heater, power vent, totally the way to go. Yep. Not only for carbon monoxide safety and stuff like that, but it's a little bit more efficient, and not that much more to buy it. So. But that's water heaters, you guys. If you have any questions about water heaters or anything like that, hit us up. You can go on to our website, helpfulhomeinspector.com, and you can put in your questions and stuff. We'll be happy to come on and answer those for you next week. So let's move into our giveaway for the week, okay? So our giveaway question of the week is, what is the best type of siding material for your home, in my opinion? What is the best type of siding material for your home, in my opinion? Okay, my opinion is the only one that counts. So that we'll find out. Somebody can put it in there. Give us your shout outs. Let us know what you think is the best siding material, in my opinion. Now, as far as Tammy, can you scroll the script up? So as far as the next thing we're going to get into, we're going to do our little bit of a mystery box battle. All right. You ready for this?
Sure.
So basically, I want to grab the mystery boxes over there. So basically, Andy and I are each going to get a box. Inside of the box is going to be a product. These products are similar. They're in the same realm, okay? So it might be wood flooring and vinyl flooring, or plaster and drywall and these types of things, And so Andy's going to try to sell us on whatever his product is. I'm going to try to sell you on whatever my product is. And why mine's better or yours better, we'll basically take 1 minute each to present our arguments. If you want to use part of your minute to debunk my argument, or I want to use time to debunk yours, we can do that. Whoever goes second or whoever goes first will get a chance to rebut after the other person goes. So pick a box. Which one you want, buddy?
Let's take the one on top, I guess.
Take the one on top. All right, so what do you got?
Copper pipe.
Copper pipe. You got PEX. Mine's so much better.
Yes.
So, you want to go first or second?
I'll go second.
Okay, I'll let you think about it. So, PEX, basically, it's a polyethylene type of plastic, and it is heavily used in all of our new homes today. It's flexible. It can shove through all the different walls and through all the different cracks and crevices and all that kind of stuff, and it's really easy to use in retrofitting and stuff. Doesn't require any soldering, so I don't have to use any flame and torch and explosive devices while I'm working with it. And then also it comes with these nice little easy fittings that make a really good watertight connection in seconds. And if you are looking at installing PEX, I can crimp together probably 15 lengths of pipe or whatever in a matter of a minute or two. Instead of copper, you're going to spend 5 minutes soldering one goddamn joint, and then it's going to look messy and sloppy, and it's going to have a greater potential for leaking and stuff like that. The thing with PEX is you can send hot or cold to it. I even color coded it. Look at this, color coded PEX. So hot water lines, and the cold water lines. This is a different type of PEX. This is PEX A, which is uses a different type of fitting. This one has a memory, so when I expand it, it remembers and goes right back down and makes a watertight fitting without any connections, without any crimping, no other devices, no solder, no flux, no any of those types of things.
All right, you got your minute.
All right. You got copper pipe.
Well, copper pipe, obviously, it's stand the test of time. Copper has been around for a long time, and even those old school plumbers, they swear by this stuff over PEX because it's metal. It lasts a long time. Now, I had an inspection with PEX, and I know you said that it's the ease of bending it through and turning it around corners. I've had PEX have little pinholes in it because on bends and stuff. I'm not sure if you've seen that, but could be old PEX as well. But and some people don't swear by those connections. Soldering is a nice watertight seal. But yeah, that's all I got. I think the biggest defense is that it's stood its time here in the industry, and I think it's going to keep on going. Well, if the price stays down, but I mean, all new construction, obviously, PEX is getting put in for price wise and stuff, and ease of install. But you still see copper in old houses and new houses. So I think copper is superior material when it comes to plumbing.
Okay. So I'm gonna just give a little brief rebuttal here. So copper does corrode. The joints can leak. You see it leaks all the time. And you're reliant on that person's soldering skills. Plus, a lot of
the
copper...
Are you going to rely on a crimp?
Sure, but a lot of copper pipe, when you go back 20, 30 years, they were using lead solder. So you could be in lead. I don't want to scare anybody. But the thing with copper pipe is that it's super expensive. I mean, right now, if you have copper pipe that you're throwing away, holy cow, you're throwing away a lot of money.
Well, I heard it was copper. I mean, now this is against me, but was it like a 10-year all-time high? I think copper is at or something.
The whole point of this. You're supposed to be helping yourself, you know? So that is copper versus PEX. Put in the notes or comments who do you think won that, copper or PEX? Copper or PEX?
Where's all the old school plumbers at?
Yeah, all right. All right, so that's our battle box for today. Now, as far as the next thing we're going to get into, we have top five reasons to get your house inspected if you're not planning on selling it. And if somebody's out there, I knows like, why would you do a home inspection when you're not selling your house?
I only get a couple of those a year. Those people.
I don't get too many either.
Yeah, but I think more people should be doing it.
Oh my gosh, dude. Absolutely. So many people ignore their house. I can't tell you how many times I've stopped at I'm going through my subdivision. All right. Last year I probably stopped at 11 of them. Okay. Because we had a windstorm and stuff. And I went up to their door and told them that they had missing shingles. They're like, oh, I never knew that.
Yeah.
Because you don't go across your street and look at your roof.
Or ever go in your attic.
Or ever go in your attic. Oh my gosh. Lots of reasons. So,
which was one of my reasons.
Why don't you give us your first one? What's that?
Yeah, one of my reasons was just like you said. I mean, most people are so caught up in their day-to-day life that they do not take the time to, fully inspect their home, or even once a year. Even something as minimal as that, they don't do it. So having someone like a home inspector come out and give you guys a rundown on what issues we see with your house, potential issues we may see with your house, maintenance tips, all that kind of stuff is something to help maintain your home and keep it running strong.
Yeah, for sure. It's one of those things. I think just too many people ignore their home, and they're going to ignore their damaged roof until it leaks on their kitchen table,
or until they sell their home and they don't care anymore. Yeah,
or sell their home.
Someone else's problem.
Comes in, and then they got to spend $20,000. It's kind of crazy. So we do still have 5 minutes left in the show. I am winning the mystery box battle. We need some more voting going on there. At this time, Matt has 2 votes and Andy has 1. So I think I'm gonna pull it out. We'll see. And so as far as the 5 reasons, that's a great reason, because people do ignore their home. And I had that actually on my list here too. But one of the things that I always am putting in my reports is the honey-do list. You want something to keep your husband busy and out of trouble on a Saturday?
Hey, I got that on my list too.
Gosh darn home inspection people,
You'd be surprised how many people, like I do inspections for them. They say, we keep your inspection and use it as a checklist as the years go on and do things. And I think it's a great idea.
Absolutely. Yeah. 3 years after we bought our house, my wife pulls out our home inspection and says, honey, item 37 is not done yet.
Remember that? Yeah.
Really? Come on, babe. But it's something that legitimately will point out not only the big things that need to be fixed with your house, but the things that are little things that could be improved with your home. And sometimes it's just suggestions for improvement. I know something that can make your house more comfortable, easy to take care of, last longer, and can prevent a problem for you down the road. Okay. Wouldn't you want to know that? I mean, you want to talk about the cost of the inspection of $350, $400. Okay. You're going to get that back in no time by catching problems before they become. I have a thing here. Let's deal with the molehills instead of the mountains. Mountains are expensive.
That's right. I said it helps you set up a budget in case you have a big expense potentially coming. Find it early so you can at least budget for that expense. Yeah. Not something that's going to surprise you one day.
What was our topic today?
Water heaters.
How many of you out there know how old your water heater is? Seriously, you're gonna be like, oh, I think it's 5 years old. Then you're gonna go downstairs. You're gonna find out that it's 11.
Yeah.
Okay, so go downstairs. On your data plate, you can see how old your water heater is. If your plumber was any good, he probably wrote on it with marker when he installed it. Okay, if it's 10 years old, you're on borrowed time. So plan appropriately. All right, but finding them out before they become big issues, absolutely. And the next thing that I had was you can along the lines of finding things out is that you can improve the efficiency of your home. You know, I'm going to go up in your attic. I'm going to find out if you don't have enough insulation, that you're wasting a bunch of money on your gas bills and stuff like that. Yeah. I'm going to find problems on the outside of the house that are letting cold air get into your home and make your home uncomfortable. So improving your energy efficiency of your home and getting some suggestions from a professional that knows what they're talking about is important. Okay, just watching a YouTube video or whatever from somebody that is doing DIY stuff or whatever, you know, may not be the best solution. Getting somebody at your house, looking at your entire building envelope and looking at it with a critical eye, really
have an unbiased eye, right?
Unbiased, absolutely.
You know, we're not here to sell you anything.
No,
we're here to tell you what's wrong. So, you know, maybe a plumber's going to come in. Yeah, you need this fixed, but do you really need it fixed right then? You know, but
yeah. Well, and
there's some shady.
There's some shady contractors out there that'll come into your home and be like, "Oh yeah, this water heater is old. It's ancient. Yeah. It's gonna leak any day and flood your basement out. You really should put a new one in." Next thing you know, you're dropping $2,500 on the most expensive water that they sold you on the efficiency or whatever, you know. And the truth about efficiencies with all that is that you're looking at something that you're talking about. $500 to $1,000 generally difference in efficiency, unless you're going from the electric to a heat pump type of thing. You know, so they're upselling you to make themselves money, not necessarily help you out. Okay, and then and also finding out the remaining life so you can anticipate for the future. You know, and I know we kind of talked a little bit about that, but improving that is an important piece. So. So yeah, and lots of good reasons out there to get that home inspection. It's a great $300 to $400 investment in not only the comfort of your home, finding out problems ahead of time, knowing what you need to do to better maintain, take care of your home, make it more comfortable, make it less likely you're going to have problems. Most of the time when I go into somebody's house, they're like, "Oh, you're not going to find anything here. My house is perfect." You know,
those are the ones you find the most, right?
Yeah, and I come out with this. I'm like,
I'm a contractor.
And then the guy's like, "Oh, I never looked at any of that. Why are you turning our mics off, Tammy?"
Oh, yeah, mine's off.
Yeah, it died. What'd you touch? There you go. I don't know what you had going on. But you guys really go take a look around your house. If you're not going to hire a home inspector, go take a look around your house just so you know what's going on. All right. Tip of the week before we go here, using salt on your walkway or driveway can cause damage. If you don't want to cause damage and you still want to use salt, make sure you seal that concrete with a penetrating concrete sealer. I mean, how often do we see salt damage, right? Every house.
I sealed my driveway last year.
Welcome to Wisconsin, right? And unless we stop using salt and sodium chloride on roads, it's still going to continue to happen. So seal your concrete driveways. Save it from the salt damage. Thanks again for tuning in this week, you guys. Next week, we've got Mike Severson coming on. We're going to be talking about the do's and don'ts of septic systems and lots of other good stuff. So tune in again next week, 9 to 10 o'clock in the morning, every Saturday here on the Helpful Home Inspector Network. Andy, thanks for coming on today, man. I appreciate it. It was good to see you. Good luck with business. If you're looking for a home inspection, HSH property inspection, or builder inspections, you can't go wrong, people. We're here to help you guys out in any way that we can. Lots of videos out there. Podcast is going to be up on Monday. Remember, you guys, the better you take care of your house, the better it's going to take care of you in the long run. Have a good one.